There we go. What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy with Kicks and Bricks, and we are live for the first time. This is going to be a live tutorial on how to set up different kinds of bots, and whether you're going manual, we could do manual setups as well. Basically, what we would do is I'm going to go through the setups. Because it's the first video, there's not going to be too many people in here. So as the channel gain some traction, there'll be more and more people that'll come in, and then we can do more of a Q&A. But I'm just going to basically go over my setup and what I do for drops. Shopify foot sites is pretty much dead, but I'm going to set up for foot sites anyways, just in case they drop grade school. But for now, just give me 1 second. So what I use for Shopify is Mech.io, and I use Balko. Those are my two go-to bots. For Kith, I usually run Balko, Jimmy Jazz, Mech.io, and then there's a couple others like Shop Nice Kicks and Shoe Palace that I use Balko for as well. So what I'll do now is we'll go over a Balko setup. Just give me 1 second. So also this video is sponsored by Proxy Heaven. They're the only ISP that I use. Pretty much, I mean, we are in as far as the discount is concerned, the discount's in the description. There's also a link to their Discord and their website. Hands down the best ISP, whether it's for Shopify, Yeezy Supply, Foot Sites. Yesterday, Kids Foot Locker restocked the Oreo GS, and running 7 Resi providers and my subnet through Proxy Heaven. That's the only provider that was able to purchase 2 pairs. So it's definitely recommended. If you click the link in the description, go to their website. You can use my code at checkout, and then there's a Discord there as well where you can join the Discord. All right, so for Balko, there we go. So Balko is really easy. Looking at the bot, it doesn't have the greatest UI, but as far as for Shopify, there's not too many bots out there that can touch it. So name it. I usually run Kith at 10 o'clock. Well, we'll do undefeated first at 8. Undefeated at 8. And then it's very simple. Top left corner, select site. Go down to undefeated. And then you choose your proxy list down here. I generally run localhost for undefeated. For Shopify, when you're not running more than 3 or 4 tasks, your best bet is always going to be localhost, as long as you're on your regular computer. If you're on a server, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be banned. You're not going to be able to get through. So that's going to be your best bet. Undefeated always does AJ for Air Jordan. They don't do anything else, so I would do AJ space 4 space, and then my negative keywords just add a minus. So minus GS, minus toddler. Remember, this is a full size run. So you're going to want to take out kids, infant, toddler, grade school, GS. Give me 1 second. And then you go down to random sizing. Now, undefeated isn't like, so Kith, what Kith does is Kith would load sizes 4 through 16, even if there's no stock. So running for Kith, which we're going to set up for next, what I recommend is always going through size 6 or 7 through 13. That way, if your task picks up, like say size 4 or size 15 and there's no stock, it's going to go straight to out of stock unless you have your sizes in there. But for undefeated, I usually go random. Always safe mode for undefeated. They always drop with checkpoint captcha. And you're always going to want to preload in order to pass Q. So right after, I'd say, Q would probably start building up around 7 or 8 minutes to 8. you'd want to start your tasks when you pass queue. You can do the math. So if the queue is 60 seconds or 120 seconds, you'd want to start at around 7:53, 7:54 to get past queue with 5 minutes so your session doesn't expire. Then you just pick your profile. Now, what I found that works best for me for profiles is I always use privacy. Privacy doesn't give me any declines. They don't cancel on Undefeated's back end, which I've had a problem with a lot in the past. But it's a good thing because if you're going for a drop and your card just gets fraud decline or something like that, you're going to miss out. You're not going to be able to hit anything. So, and then that's it. You create your tasks here. I always start with delay of 10,000. And then 45 seconds before 8 o'clock, I drop my delays, solve my checkpoint, and that's it. Kith is pretty much the same thing. I'm just going to switch this up here. The only thing with Kith is sometimes, well, what they've been doing as well is you're not going to want to run ISPs unless you know 100% certain that your ISPs are not banned, because you're going to get throttled. So what I usually do is run resis, find a resi provider that works for you, or run localhost, run 3 or 4 tasks on localhost. The patent breads that released on the 30th, I was able to hit a pair size 7 on Kith running only 2 tasks localhost. So same thing, they're a little different. You'll get an early link from Kith. What I usually do is I'll do half my tasks with early link and the other half with keywords, and then I'll turn group monitor on. Now what group monitor does is it picks up the first task that picks up, whether it's link or keywords, it'll switch all your tasks to that and it'll start going to checkout right away. So that works best for me when I do that. And that's going to be the setup for Balko. I don't really run too many other sites on this. Now for foot sites, hold on 1 second. They're actually restocking right now. Cool Grays are restocking. Oh, preschool. Never mind. Alright, so for foot sites, I generally run Prism and Wrath. I'm going to pull those 2 up now. Alright, so this is Prism. Prism has the best UI, hands down. I've had this bot since last year, March. I paid 5.3 for it when all the bots were in the bubble. So I probably would never sell this bot only because of how much it ended up costing me. So don't worry about all those shoes have been delivered, so you can't do anything with those order numbers. But anyway, so for foot sites, it's fairly simple. You create a task group, you go up here, you name it. I generally just put the name of the proxy company I'm going to use. Choose your site, and then hit create. Then you'll put your monitor input, which is always found at the website of the shoe. So if you go to footlocker.com and you go to releases, you highlight that SKU, you put it in monitor input, and then you're able to, you leave that there, you select your proxy list. So make sure that it's unbanned. If it's off for some reason, or if it's banned on foot sites, you're not going to pick up product. So I always go on my subnet because it's not banned and it's never off. And then simple, you create your tasks by pressing the plus button up here at the top. Choose your profiles. Delays you keep at 5,000, your proxy list, and then random as well. And that's it, just that simple. Now I've heard that Prism has been cooking Shopify. I haven't ran that module yet, only because Balko and Mech work so well for me. So I'm not going to change something because it works. So I'm going to keep running foot sites on Prism and Wrath, and we'll keep Shopify for Mech and Balko. So with, this is Wrath. Pretty much same thing for Wrath that it is for Prism. Oh, CAPTCHAs. So on Prism, they're going to run probably Q. It'll go up around 30 to 45 minutes before drop time. So what I do is I run AYCD. They just pushed an update a few weeks ago to CAPTCHA sharing. So where you don't have to, every task does not need to solve a CAPTCHA to get into queue. Before, if you ran 1,000 tasks, you'd have 1,500 CAPTCHAs to do. If you started too early, some tasks would duplicate CAPTCHAs. Now I run around 2 to 2,500 tasks, and I solve a little over 100 CAPTCHAs. So that works. It's very efficient because I was having to spend $5 per third-party CAPTCHA provider almost every drop, and I have six providers. So CAPTCHA settings, auto solve for me, I leave it there. I start 15 to 20 minutes before drop time, and then I wait for my task to get into queue. So pretty much same thing for Wrath. Wrath is a little bit different though, as far as your CAPTCHAs is concerned. So when creating, we'll go ahead and start from scratch. So it's simple. You hit the plus sign, task group down here. You pick your site, which would be Foot Locker. Now, privacy does not work on foot sites, so I use hard cards for foot sites. I think that there are a couple providers that work on foot sites. I know that privacy is definitely not one of them. It gets instant PV'd. So, excuse me. All right, so Foot Locker US, you'll put your SKU in here, the same as the monitoring SKU. So we'll go ahead and do it for the Thunder Red 4's. Let me grab that. All right, and then your profile group. And then your sizes, you can choose random for sizes. And then your proxy list. There's nothing to do here. When you go into advanced, leave it on release. If you're not going to be at your computer, like for instance, I'm going to be away this Saturday. So I'm going to schedule my tasks to start around 3 or 4 minutes before. So with Wrath, you start around 3 or 4 minutes before release. $252, create, and that's it. Then you'll go and in your CAPTCHAs, and you will, hold on 1 second, just make sure I don't have any proxy showing. Nope, perfect. All right, so for that, you'll put your proxy in here, whatever proxy you're using for your Gmail. You'll go to, I haven't done this, where is it at? Queue it, sorry. Queue it, leave it on default, save it, and then you just open it up. And what you'll do is you won't get many. You may get 10 the whole drop, but Wrath is extremely efficient on foot sites. That's my go-to. If there's a restock happening, before I start anything, I start this. Prism has automations, so all my SKUs that I'm looking for are already in my automations. So once that happens, it goes live anyways. I don't need to worry about it. But Wrath works very well. There's also, Wrath just pushed a Best Buy module. They haven't dropped since I used it yet, but it cooked AMD for me 2 weeks ago. And so Wrath is definitely an efficient bot. All right, so the last bot we're going to set up for the drop is going to be Mech AIO. Mech AIO I run for Shopify, Jimmy Jazz, or sometimes I run both Balko and Mech AIO for Kith and Undefeated. I'll just put my two captchas on one screen very close to the right, and then my two captchas very close to the left. That way they're close together, and I try to solve both as fast as possible. So for this, same thing. You'll put your profiles there. For Undefeated, you'll go to your settings, and then on the top, you'll see an accounts page. You'll go there for that. All right. So same thing, Shopify. Undefeated. Boom, done. Now for Undefeated, Mech is a little bit different. You cannot create more tasks during when your tasks are running. You can't change anything on the tasks as they're running. You can't go back in and edit sizes. You can't edit. You can't do anything pretty much. Once you start your tasks on Undefeated, that's pretty much it. So for Undefeated, you choose your accounts. Then you'll choose your proxies. You put your delay, which is always 10,000 to start, at least for me it is. And then random sizes. And that's it. Now for Undefeated on Mech, you want to go safe, you want to go preload, and there is shipping rates as well. Shipping rates does speed up your checkout process. That way your task doesn't have to find the shipping rates. I usually do half and half just in case. And then that's it. You'll press start. And then once you press start, if you want to change, say for instance, you want to run for one men's, one GS, you're not going to be able to, like for Balko, you can put half your task for men and the other half GS. For Mech, you can't do that. So what I usually do is just duplicate the task group. I'll put the keywords for GS or the link for GS in one, and then for men's in the other. So that's pretty much it, guys. I knew that it being the first stream, there's probably not going to be anyone in here. I did my best to kind of market it, but that's going to be it. If you have any questions, if you need to know anything regarding the drop, FLX, I just started running FLX on, I guess what I can do is go over FLX on Prism to help you guys out some on that. But I just started doing that the other day. So the good thing about foot sites is if you're going to create an account, all you need to do is create it one place. So you'll create your account with Champs or Foot Locker, and that account is good on all 5 foot sites. Kids Foot Locker, Champs, Foot Action, and East Bay. So let's start a task. All right, so for FLX, now the only thing, without a provider that sells you FLX or without you, I mean, you have to have a way to obtain points on these accounts. If you don't have at least 500,000, I've heard that there's no point. I created a few and did ship to me an in-store option just to do it, just so I can kind of get used to it, because I know eventually there's going to be providers out there that sell FLX accounts that already have points on it. So that's not going to be too far ahead. It's definitely something that people are going to do. So I figured I'd learn it now. That way when it does happen, I can just buy the accounts and start doing it. So Foot Action Raffle, you'll type in anything you need to here. You hit create. Your monitor input is the same SKU. So if you're going for men's, do it this way. Type it in here. And then your proxy list, same thing. Now, there's a lot of errors on FLA, on Foot Locker, Foot Action, East Bay. You're gonna get errors sometimes. Just let your tasks run. The devs at Prism, that's what they recommend. So that's what I've been doing. So let's see. There's no captures needed at all, and then you'll hit your plus. Now, every profile needs to be unique. So what I did, and I don't even know if it's gonna work, is I used privacy for I have my main account, and then I used privacy for my other accounts. I use privacy for my other accounts for the ship to me option. So that way, if it works, it works. I heard only Eno works. Other than hard cards, no other virtual credit card works. But so you can do in-store raffle. These Thunder Reds are not really something I'm going for, so I wouldn't max out my head starts. I'd save it for a shoe that I actually wanted. You put your profile in there, your account, you select your account and your proxy list that you're going to use to submit, and then you just hit create. Once you do that, you'll get session expired. Just let it keep running. You don't have to worry about it. It'll eventually go through. So you can only do one store per task group. So Foot Action here, your profile does not have to have any information already put in. So once you create an account with Foot Locker, I think there's a few things you can do to get about 1,000 points. Once you do that, you'll have, that's pretty much it. You can fill out your size of your clothes size, your shoe size, and that'll give you about 1,000 points. And that's going to be all you can get without you making purchases on it. That's pretty much it, guys. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start posting until people start watching it and joining in. I know in the beginning there's not going to be too much traction, but I'm okay with that. I'm invested into growing this for it to be something long term. To have a group full of sneakerheads that bought and go manual and love to collect shoes, and we can just hang out. I appreciate everyone for watching the video. Thank you so much. You have a great day.